So this question has four graph answers as answer choices. So I'm going to call this a diagram question. Right? I like to call these questions diagram questions along with the other questions that I typically call diagram questions, which contain an actual graph or shape or table in the question itself, because a lot of emphasis is going to go on the shape of these answers, like the shape of the graphs, maybe where the y-intercepts are, the x-intercepts are, actual points on the graph, right? So a lot of our attention is still going to be based upon the visual input here. Now, the beauty of having a graph question is the fact that we can plug in our own numbers, right? So another strategy here is PIYON, plug in your own number. For instance, I see that my y-intercept for choice A is at 2, but for choice B it's at 1, for C it's at 2, and for D it's at 2, which tells me I'm pretty confident that the y-intercept must be 2, but let's just make sure, right? So if I said x equals 0, which is how we find y-intercept, that means my equation would become y equals 2 to the 0, because there's no such thing as negative 0, plus 1. 2 to the 0 is 1, because any number to the 0 power is equal to 1. And 1 plus 1, of course, is 2. So yes, I do expect my y-intercept to be at 2. So B is crossed out. Now, how about what I expect to happen after 0, right? Like maybe what happens when x is equal to 1? Well, when x is 1, I get y equals 2 to the negative 1 plus 1. 2 to the negative first power is positive 1/2. Hopefully that makes sense. 1/2 plus 1. And I'm going to just say this is 1.5, right? Instead of making that a improper fraction. So 1.5 is it's lower than 2, which looks good for choice A. It does not, however, look good for choice C, right? For choice C, we're going up above 2, so C is gone. And then for choice D, by the time we get to positive 1 on the x-axis, it looks like we're exactly at positive 1 on the y-axis, not at 1.5. So actually, that's enough for me to feel pretty confident that choice A is the correct answer. Now, if it wasn't enough for you to feel confident, you could say, well, I really want to see, well, what happens when x equals 2, right? So y equals 2 to the negative 2 plus 1, which is going to be 1 over 2 squared, which is 4. So 1 1/4, right? So it should still be above 1 even at 2, which looks like is the case there. But again, here, by the time you get to 2, we're negative. So even more so, D is out. A is the best answer.